So I just welcome everybody to this African Tea Time session. It's the very first one for this academic year. I want to introduce myself before everything because I always forget to. My name is Damaris Choti. I'm the coordinator of student and alumni programs here at the African Studies Center at Michigan State University. And I really take this opportunity to welcome everybody that is joining us for this very first African Tea Time of the academic year. Uh, Previously, we've had these tea time sessions bi-weekly, every other week. But this year, we're going to have the sessions every month, once every month. And we do hope that you will continue joining us for the rest of the presentations. I will share all the information about what's coming after. But for today, I'm really, really very happy to welcome our presenter, Elizabeth Soila. And before I do that, I know that there are people joining for the African Tea Time for the first time. And I would like to briefly talk about what this platform is about. It's one of the signature events of the African Studies Center that was initiated in 2012. So it has been around for quite a while. And the major goal of this platform is to promote knowledge about Africa. And in fact, that is the mandate of the African Studies Center at MSU. It's a national resource center together with 13 other ones in the US. And our biggest mission is to be able to provide space and place for people from with interest in Africa to be able to learn and share about the continent, the developments that happen in the continent, on the continent, and even outside in the diaspora. And before COVID, we used to have these discussions in person, but I'm not trying to say it's good that COVID happened, but you know what it did with technology? It opened up the world. Now, since then, we're able to, that's when we went virtual in 2020. And that's how we've been able to engage people that are outside MSU. So welcome again, everybody. And I'm really, really, really privileged and have the pleasure to invite Elizabeth, who is going to be our presenter for today's discussion. I met Elizabeth not too long ago. She was one of the Mandela Washington Fellows, and Elizabeth can tell you a little bit about the fellowship before she starts a discussion. And she was here at MSU. There are, I don't know the exact number of fellows that join in different institutions in the US. And these fellows are selected from various African countries. And they're selected because of the industrious work that they are engaged in their countries, in their communities, public service, civil service. So I was privileged, as I say, to meet Elizabeth over the summer when she was here at Michigan State University as one of the participants in the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And honestly, I didn't get to know so much about what she's doing. She told me, she did tell me, but I knew it's a work that needs a platform like the African Tea Time where she can share about it with a larger audience within MSU and outside MSU, in fact, the global community of Michigan State University. And that's how Elizabeth is here today to share about what she's engaged in her community. So today's discussion is going to be centered on empowering girls, transforming communities, and it's highlighting the Nice Place Foundation that is found in Kajiado, Kenya. I've said the speaker is Elizabeth Soila, who is the co-founder and scholarship coordinator for the Nice Place Foundation. And Elizabeth holds a bachelor's degree in environmental planning and management. She is a dedicated advocate for quality education and the inclusion of girls in education opportunities. As the co-founder and project officer in charge of scholarships at the NICE Foundation, she has made significant strides in ensuring that education is accessible to all, especially her native region of Loitoktok Kajiado County. I wouldn't say so much about Elizabeth. What I want to do is to give her the platform to take us through the presentation and her story, the story of the Nice Place Foundation. After that, we will have time for discussion, QR comments, all that. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for accepting to be part of our African Tea Time series, and welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Elizabeth Soila. I will tell you a bit more about myself in this presentation. But before I do that, as Damaris has told you, we met this summer. I was fortunate enough to come to MSU. I was selected as one of a young African leader from Kenya through the Mandela Washington Fellowship. What the fellowship is, it's a very competitive fellowship that takes in young African leaders from all over Africa. And they do so for people in three spaces: people in civic spaces, people in public leadership spaces, and people in the business sector. So I was very fortunate to be able to become one out of them. In Kenya, we only have 8,000 who've been able to be alumni of the program. So I was fortunate to be one of them this year. Having said that, I will take you through my personal story and how that has shaped what we have right now, the Nice Place Foundation, the challenges and the successes that we have. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you. And as we say in Swahili, karibuni sana. So I'll go right to it. My name is Elizabeth Soila. I'm the co-founder and scholarship coordinator of a Nice Place Foundation. What a Nice Place Foundation is, we are a leadership academy for girls and a rescue center. We are located in a very small town called Kimana. It's in Kajiado County, and Kajiado County is in Kenya. I am most passionate about gender equality and quality education for all. So I'll take you through my childhood so that you understand why it is I do what I do right now. These are pictures of my brother and I. I am a firstborn of a family of three. I have a younger brother and a younger sister. I was born in a very small town here in Kajiado County, a small town called Loitoktok. I had normal childhood until I was 7 years old, and my parents separated. So when that happened, then I had to live, or my brother and I had to live with so many relatives. We had to move from house to house every single time we were in a different house. And today I'm telling you this because this influences or influenced what it is that I do right now at the foundation. So during this time, when we were moving from household to household, there were a lot of risks. Every single household that you'd go to, you'd find a different risk. And given that I was a girl, girls usually just have even more risks than boys. So every single household had its own risks, and it was not safe for me. What I opted for, I opted to go to a boarding school when I was in grade 4 because for me, a boarding school felt like it felt safe. It felt like a safe haven for me. And that was my escape route. So that's what I did when I was very young. I managed to convince my dad to take me to a boarding school so that I do not have to go from household to household just for me to be able to get basic needs as a child. The next slide I'll show you. This was me in high school together with my friends, and I still had the same challenge in high school, even though I was in boarding school, because I also come from a humble background. I used to come home every single holiday, and because my mom was not able to support my education, then I'd have to live with relatives do whatever it is they want me to do in terms of chores, taking care of their children, so that when I go to school, they're able to support that. I did my Form 4 in 2013, and I managed to go to university. So now I was a big girl. I was already used to challenges, and I had overcome them. So I went to Kenyatta University, did my bachelor's degree in environmental planning and management. But in my 4 years in school, I noticed something. In the 4 years I was in that school, and it's a school with a big population, because my school had like 30,000 people per semester. So every semester, 30,000 people. Every other semester, 30,000 people. In the 4 years that I was in that school, I was not able to get to know any other Maasai girl. And that was devastating for me. It made me realize how lucky I was. But more than that, it made me ask a lot of questions. And some of the questions I asked myself were, what's happening to the girls in my community? Why is it that in the 4 years that I have been in school, I have never seen any other girl from my community? And then it reminded me of something. When I was in primary school and when I was in high school, there are a lot of girls that I started school with, but I was not able to finish school with them because they were married off. Some of them got pregnant along the way, so they were not able to finish their school. So that triggered something in me. And I was like, I think something needs to be done, because I don't think it's fair if girls are not given a chance to be able to go to school. And given that I come from my community, we are pastoralist, and most of us come from humble backgrounds. So what I thought to myself is, education is the only ultimate equalizer. So if we are not able to be given education, so what does the future look like for my community, for the girls, and it's not just girls, it's the community generally, because it's the girls who also become parents. If I was not taken to school, then there's a very high possibility that I'll not take my children to school. And sometimes it's because of poverty or because I am not able to afford it. So this story, the story of when I was in school and the story of how I grew up, the lack of safety, triggered or made me want to do something about the whole situation. And that's how the Nice Place Foundation was born. So what happens at this place foundation? This is where we allow the girls to dream, to learn, and to lead. We are, as I said earlier, we are located in a town here in Kajiado County in Loitoktok, a very small town. What we are a rescue center. And when I say rescue center, it might sound very vague. So what happens in Kajiado County is, or in my culture, because I'm Maasai, we still practice something called FGM, which is female genital mutilation or cut. And for us, FGM is a rite of passage. And it's something that, it's our culture, it's something that has been practiced since the beginning of time. So what usually happens is, FGM happens to girls who are between age 8 to 16, thereabout. And because this is a rite of passage, then it means when you're cut, then you stop becoming a girl, you become a woman. You now graduate from being a girl to a woman. And what happens when you're a woman? It means that if you're a woman, then you're mature enough to get married, you're mature enough to have children of your own. And what used to happen, or what still happens, is girls are cut. You find out that an 8-year-old girl is cut, and then they're married off. And who do they get married off to? As I said earlier, we are pastoralists, and there's nothing we love more than our cattle, nothing. So what usually happens is you ate, you cut, there's bride price, and for us, bride price is cattle. So I cannot get married to an 8-year-old. Of course, they do not have cattle to give my parents. So what happens is you find out that an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, or a 12-year-old is married off to someone who is 68 years old, because that's the only person who can afford bride price for them. So when we say the rescue center, we take in girls who flee from harmful cultural practices, one being FGM, the other one being early marriages or child marriages, and other forms of GBV. We also have a leadership academy that's designed for young girls. I'll be talking more about it as we proceed with the presentation. So right now, as we speak, FGM or harmful cultural practices is not the only risk right now that girls are facing. Given that right now we have issues of climate change, which is something that's happening all over the world, and pastoralists depend on rainfall for us to be able to feed our cattle. So what happens when we have drought, prolonged periods of drought? Then it means that our cattle will die. And since we like our cattle, if we're able to replenish our cattle by giving out our girls, then we do that. So we also have that issue right now, an emerging issue right now that we have as a risk. So the Kajiado County, which is in Kenya, it's inhabited by the Maasai community. And the Maasai community is very patriarchal. What happens in my community is a woman does not have space to do anything. All decisions are made by men, and it's so bad such that a woman is not allowed to look at a man's face. For example, if I am addressed by a man, what I should be doing is I should bow down and just listen. I'm not allowed to respond, or if I respond, the answer should always be yes. You cannot say no to it. So we are very patriarchal, and women are not given spaces to make decisions or anything of the sort. So the Nice Place Foundation came in so that it can help girls who are fleeing away from these harmful practices to be able to get a refuge, to be able to get somewhere where they are safe, to be able to get an education so that we can ensure a sustainable future. So now let's talk numbers. So still in 2025, 75% of girls are subjected to FGM or FGM. And as I told you earlier, as soon as you're cut, you're married off. There's no other way. And when you're married off, it does not make sense for someone's wife to be in primary school. Then it means that you just have to drop out of school. The number of girls who drop out of school is 6.8% more than the number of boys, which is still very unfortunate given that we're in 2025. Issues of teenage pregnancies, 22%, because if we are marrying off our girls, and if you notice, if 74% are subjected to FGM, 22%, then it does not make sense to have 22% girls who are just mothers. But why this disparity is because girls are given out when they're very, very young. I remember there's a colleague of mine, she was telling me her story of how she was given out for marriage. And long time ago, people did not know their ages that well. So she did not know how old she was, but she tells me she was given out. So, and you're not briefed on anything. So you're just given out. You're told this is your husband and that's it. Your mother does not tell you anything about marriage, and you're still very young, you're still very innocent. You do not know what happens in marriages. So she went, she was her mom was like, this is now your husband, so you just go with her. And she was confused. She was like, why am I leaving home? Why are you giving me away? Anyway, she went to the husband's place, and it was terrible. Because every single time, because if you're married, then there are things that you have to do as a wife. And because she was confused, every single time she'd run away. And she tells me she stayed in that home for 10 years without ever getting pregnant. Because even before she was given out, she had never even experienced her periods. She was that young. So that's things that happen to people here in Kajiado County, which is very unfortunate. So how do we do what we do as Nice Place Foundation? So we do have 3 main programs: the safe shelter. And what happens at the safe shelter is that we do not just take girls in and that's it. So what usually happens is we take you in and we try and find justice for you. So we really work with the government, we work with the courts, we work with the police, we work with the children's department to try and find justice for the girls that we take in. Other than that, to ensure that you have an education, so we take you to a school. We offer social psycho support because girls come in traumatized. So we offer counseling services to them. We do have a counselor on site so that she's able to see the girls and talk to them, just to relieve the trauma that they come with. Other than that, we give food, medical attention, and basically basic needs. That's what happens at the safe shelter. At the Leadership Academy, why we decided to come up with a Leadership Academy. In Kajiado County, there's a very big gap between leadership among men and women. There's a very huge gap, and we just wanted to bridge this gap. I'd give you an example. Right now in Kajiado County, in our county, we only have one elected political leader who is a woman. And that woman is elected because the Constitution has allowed or has made it possible for the women rep position. I am sure if it were up to the people of Kajiado County, if we were able to put a man there as a women rep, we would have been able to do that. Unfortunately, we are not able to do that. So that's why we only have one woman who is in a political position in Kajiado County. And there's a very big disparity between Kajiado County and counties like Nakuru County, where you find out that even the governor is a woman. Most seats in that county are taken by women, and not just their senior seats. These women sit on very senior seats, which is not the case in Kajiado County. So because of these issues and because growing up as a girl here in Kajiado County, you're told, no, you're not able to do that. No, leadership is for men. Men grow up already knowing that I am the bearer of the family name. I am the one who is in charge of everything in the family. So you find out that even your sibling, who is younger than you, but he's a boy, he has more say than yourself. Your younger sibling can make decisions for you. It doesn't matter how old you are than they are. So the Leadership Academy is just to bridge the gap. And what we do in the leadership gap, and what we do in the Leadership Academy is that we bring in girls who've just completed high school, girls who are waiting to transition to universities, colleges, or technical institutes. And what we do with them is that we teach them leadership. so that they may take up positions even when they go to school, or they may know that anybody can be a leader. You do not have to be a man for you to be a leader. We also teach them advocacy because we want them to be able to speak for themselves and to speak for those who are not able to speak for themselves. We want them to be our ambassadors in the community because we understand as Nice Place Foundation, we are not able to help every person. And not even that, we are not able to reach every other person. If we decide to do it alone, then we will not be able to do it. So we are just uh, the girls are like an army that we have that we send to the community for them to advocate for the things that we think are right for the girls. So that's advocacy. Other than that, we also teach life skills because what happens here is most of us go to primary school in Kajiado County. We go to high school in Kajiado County, and we do not have universities in Kajiado County yet or in Loitoktok sub-county. So what usually happens, if I'm done with Form 4, then it means I have to go to a big city like Nairobi for me to be able to go to school. And there's culture shock. I have never left my home. I do not know how to navigate things in a city. I have lived in a rural area the whole of my life. So we just try and teach them life skills so that when they go there, even though there's still going to be culture shock, but they'll have mild culture shock, or they'll know how to navigate obstacles when they come through obstacles. Other than that, we also teach encoding, and we teach computer encoding because we also want to, first of all, to change mindsets and tell girls that you can do it. It does not mean that because it's coding, it's something that's it's not meant for you. You're also able to do it and you're equal to the task. Other than that, we're also trying to open up career choices for the girls because growing up, I only knew I can be a teacher or a nurse. So we're just trying to broaden the career space so that girls can know that there's also careers in technology. And now that the world is embracing technology, I mean, it's something very crucial for girls to know and to maybe get interest in that sphere. The last program that we have is the scholarship program. And for us, the scholarship program is it's an initiative that we came up with to support the community. Given that the challenges that we already have, which is the harmful cultural practices, and now climate change, scholarship just came in to help boys and girls, because now in the scholarship program we have boys and girls, to help them continue with their education and transit to higher levels of education. So what we do with this program is that we take in bright boys and girls and take them to schools. And we do that from primary level to university level. And in the scholarship program, we choose to also support boys because what we are trying to do is we do not want to also come up with an imbalanced society, because at the end of the day, we are not able to do this alone. We need to work together with men. We need to work together as a community to be able to, so that all of us are able to succeed. So we took in boys, because I mean, at the end of the day, these are still, given that we are still a patriarchal community, Nice Place Foundation does not want to change the good aspects of the culture or the things that are working in the culture. We just want to help those who are a bit helpless. And given that our girls, these are the same people who will come make decisions for us or with us. these are still the same people that will marry the girls that we are supporting. So it's only fair that we also support the boys so that we, at the end of the day, we don't start initiatives again to help the boy because the boys were forgotten. So what happens at the scholarship program is we do not only just pay your tuition fee, we are also interested in your performance. How do you do in school? How is your general well-being? How are your parents? So how we do this is we work very closely with the schools, and we work very closely with the parents, because we realized for a child to succeed, then you have to have all stakeholders take part in the success. And this includes the schools and the parents. So we do school visits for our sponsored students, just to encourage them and to speak to the teachers so that we see how we can help in case someone has a challenge. We also do parents meetings from time to time, because we're also trying to educate the parents on things like financial literacy, because we also want to see them succeed, or we also want to see them be able to take care of the younger siblings, of the younger children that they still have at home, because we might not be able to support a whole family. So we try and support the parents and educate them so that they're able to support the rest of the children that they have. So yeah, that's the scholarship program. What I did not say earlier is that Nice Place Foundation began operation on October of 2021. We're about to celebrate our 4th anniversary on the 11th of October this year. And from October of 2021, we've been able to train 700 girls in the Leadership Academy. So these 700 girls have been trained on leadership skills, advocacy, personal development, computer and coding, and environmental conservation. It now occurs to me that I did not talk about environmental conservation. So Nice Place Foundation is located very close to a national park, Amboseli National Park. So we do have a backdrop of Mount Kilimanjaro, and then we are very close to the park. So sometimes you're in the office, you're seated doing your job, and when you look at the window, you see elephants or giraffes passing by. A very nice view. So we teach environmental conservation because we want our girls to be able to coexist with, first of all, wildlife. And given that for the past 3 years, we experienced very severe drought. We never had a drop of rain in 3 years. So we also need the girls to be able to know, or to take measures to be able to conserve the environment so that we are not hit with things like drought, given that we depend on our livestock for survival. And we don't do zero grazing, something of the sort. So if we do not have vegetation outside, then it means that all our cattle die. And we do this so that these girls can also go and teach their parents how to conserve the environment. So in the scholarship program, we've been able to support over 300 boys and girls from primary school, high schools, universities, and colleges. And this year I'm super happy and grateful, because this year we get, in December, we'll have nurses who are graduating. We will have a lot of people who are graduating that we've been supporting in the scholarship program. So it's something that's really exciting for me. In the safe shelter, we've been able to rescue over 100 girls. And what happens after we rescue the girls, we do love children to grow at home. So what usually happens in the rescue center, because in our facility, we only have a capacity of 100 girls in the dormitory. So what usually happens is when a girl comes in, we try and start doing a reconciliation with the family, because we want, it's our joy if every child is able to grow at home and be with their people and be with the family and be with their community. So we try and do reconciliation processes so that we are able to reintegrate the girls back to the community. It involves a lot of dialogues, and it's not something that has a definite time. It's case by case basis. Some cases are very easy to reintegrate, others are very hard to reintegrate. There are girls that we've had for 3 years. There are girls that they come and after 6 months you're able to reintegrate them. So what usually happens is, right now we do not have 100 girls at the center. The ones that we've reintegrated almost half the number, and the ones that we've reintegrated, we do a lot of follow-ups at home just to make sure that they are still safe. And how else we ensure that they are safe is that, because when you come in as a rescued girl, you qualify directly for the scholarship, then we make sure that we still keep your scholarship and you're able to support your education so that your parent does not give you out for marriage because they are not able to either pay your school fees or even raise money to feed you. So we make sure that we continue supporting your education. We also do a lot of outreach programs. And this is also our way of involving men in what we do. And one of the things that we usually do every single day is on the 16 days of activism against GBV, we usually do a tournament in the sub-county, a football tournament. So teams come, they compete against each other, and then the winner is usually awarded. And this is just a way of bringing men on board. And because football has a lot of traction, so it's a win-win situation because they come, they play, they have fun, some get to win, and you also get to do our advocacy campaigns during that season. And it makes it easier for girls to be safe if men are on board on these issues. And yeah, so just a little more pictures and then we're almost done. So this is us during school visits. These are some of our Leadership Academy girls. This is a session, a computer and coding session. This is a session happening outside. And this was during their graduation, because what usually happens after every cohort, we usually do a graduation for the girls. More pictures. These are some of our scholarship beneficiaries. This was just before they were just about to leave for school. So at Nice Place Foundation, this is our goal right now. And our goal is to reach 50,000 girls, 50,000 families, 50,000 people that you're able to support by 2030. We want to be able to either support girls through education, be it through the Leadership Academy, be it scholarships, or support their families. So the families of 50,000 girls by 2030. What our future also looks like is we're also trying to go green. We are environmentalists, so we are trying to go green by 2030. And our goal is to have, instead of using electricity, we also want to start using solar. Instead of using LPG gas, we want to start using biogas. And we are doing this because we are also very keen on sustainability, because the need is very high. The programs are really wanting, and we do have a lot of people who really need our support. So if we are able to go sustainable on some of these things, then that will mean that we are able to support more people. And yeah, thank you very much for listening to me.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. With stories of hope and power like this, I can sit here forever. Because I did mention to Elizabeth that her work resonates so much with my number one passion and interest, even academic interest, because my dissertation was research looked at the stories, biographical narratives of women principals in Kenya who at that time were high school principals. And the major goal was to just find out, because most of them grew up, uh, I would say they're older than me, of course. They were in their 50s at that time. And they grew up during harder times when patriarchy was prevalent in, I would say, almost all communities in Kenya. Of course, Kenya is a patriarchal society in general, but I would say we have about 42 communities, and each community is different, and they navigate their different challenges differently. And I would say some, as we speak, communities would be more patriarchal than others as time goes by. But all in all, one of the stories in my study was about a girl, then now a woman principal, who exactly underwent the life that Elizabeth describes. She grew up in a community that practiced FGC. I'll call it FGC for today. Elizabeth, I prefer that one. And how she ended up becoming a teacher and how she even ended up becoming married or getting married is she found a way of not undergoing, like escaping the FGM. And it wasn't easy. I wouldn't say it's something that was easy. And how that happened, it was kind of a miracle because it just happened during the time that she was growing up. Her mother was not home. The father and mother had separated, and she lived in the home with the father and of course the rest of members of the father's family. She had aunties, but it did happen that in her community, it's only the mother that can influence or even make that decision for the girl, girl child to undergo circumcision. So the father wouldn't talk about it, the aunties wouldn't force her to undergo. So she just escaped it like that. And then she attended high school. She was able to be in uh, an organization of Christian girls in her school. And it's a long story. In fact, if you want to read about those stories in my dissertation, you can go to the MSU library. It's easy to borrow. And she ended up not undergoing the rite of passage. And another question was, who is going to get married to a girl in that community that didn't undergo that process? She happened to find a man who in that community still, not even from outside the community, who was also looking for a girl that wasn't not even looking and hoping to find one, but was so surprised that there was one girl at that time in our community that had not undergone circumcision. And that's how she got married, found her right man for marriage. But anyway, that's a story. It just resonated to many of the challenges and I would say that face women in many communities, not just Kenya, not just in Loitoktok. That said, what did I learn from your presentation, Elizabeth? It's that every community has its own challenges. Different, they could be different from yours, they could be different from mine, they could be different from any community that we grew up in or we are based right now. But you and members of your organization chose to address the need that you saw in your community. And what does that tell us, or what does it tell me? I need to do something from where I'm standing. If I'm based in my community, if I'm wherever you're based, that's your community at that time. It just reminds me that there are challenges everywhere, different. They might not be similar, but we need to step up. We need to do something. We can't just be bystanders. We can do anything that we can from where we're standing. It doesn't have to be starting an organization like Elizabeth's, but just kind of a question to me that what am I doing to make my community, my society better than I found it? I will stop there and open it up for questions. I have a question, but because I've already spoken, I won't ask first. But I'm opening it up to anybody that has a question for Elizabeth or a comment to please unmute yourself and ask your question, or feel free to type it on the chat as well. We can address it like that. But thank you so much, Elizabeth. That's powerful. And I've said it before that I'm very, very happy to see work, impactful work like the one that you're doing, especially when we know that it's supporting those that need it in our immediate communities. So please, anybody that has a question, feel free to unmute or raise your hand and you will have a chance to speak.
I think we do have a few on the chat box.
Do? Okay, let me go there then. Oh yeah, we have, okay. Thank you. This is, we celebrate you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Phyllis Wanja. And then there's Douglas that is asking, I had the privilege, is it a question? I had the privilege of visiting Nice Place Foundation last month. Oh, and I was truly impressed by Soila and her incredible team. Thank you for sharing your inspiring work. Soila, thank you, Douglas. I hope I'll find a chance to, not hope, actually, I should make it a point when I'm in Kenya to visit.
Welcome.
Phyllis is asking, what is FFCG or FGM? Do you want to respond, Elizabeth?
Yes, I think Phyllis is asking if there's data between
What
other
is
regions like Isiolo.
FGC versus FGM? Thank you, Yash.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So I do not have the data with me right now, but what we do, yes, we would love to expand, but it does take a lot. What we are doing right now to support communities in Isiolo and Samburu is through the Leadership Academy, because the Leadership Academy is open to everyone in Kenya. And for the first time, this cohort, because we do have a cohort that's been in for a month now, we've also been able to extend to Tanzania. This time we have 5 girls from Tanzania. So we are really open to expanding to these areas. But what we've been able to support them with so far right now is the Leadership Academy, because it takes a lot of finances, it takes a lot of things, one step at a time.
All right. There was another question here. What is FGC versus FGM?
So the FGC and FGM they're almost similar. Well, FGM stands for female genital mutilation, because FGC and different communities does the practice differently. So there are some who do the cut, there are some who mutilate. So it might get a bit uncomfortable. So
Okay,
yeah.
so Phyllis, please feel free to reach out to Elizabeth,
Yeah.
and maybe you can have that discussion as well. Question is to Mora. Oh, somebody's asking me.
It's from
Yes,
Mora.
for Mora. Is it you? No. Okay. I actually, I'm not an expert. Actually, I might not even be able to explain so much about what I know. But as Elizabeth has alluded to, FGs, the female genital cut and female genital mutilation refer to the different. Would we mute ourselves, please? Uh, oh, ask. Okay, sure. Thank you. So the practices are done differently in different parts of the world. Actually, it's not just in Kenya even. So mutilation, I really don't even also want to go into the details of it, but the mutilation means like the whole private parts of the female are removed, if we can say, like for the most part, for those who do it like that. And for the cat, it's a section of the female genitalia that is cut. But I wouldn't really also, as I said, I'm not an expert. If you want a discussion in details, please feel free to reach out to myself, or you can just reach out to Elizabeth. So cut is more, nothing is justified because from the standpoint of the presenter, that's Elizabeth, and from where I stand, I'm not trying to say that there's a superior and inferior culture. There's so many things that happen in different cultures that are might not be pleasant. And I wouldn't say there's any, in my opinion, that is justified because it's a part of the culture, I would say, that I do not admire. Just in any other culture, there's some aspects of the culture that you champion, you value, and there are others that you don't. So what Elizabeth is trying to do, because in her opinion and the opinion of members of her team, it's a culture, part of the culture that needs to be addressed. The community members need to be educated to say that it's not necessary, if I might say that. And again, as she has explained, once a girl has undergone that rite of passage, that promotes her to become a woman, not a girl, whether you're between 8 and 16, they're minors, in fact. So that puts you in the path to get married. And that's why we say, if it was a good aspect of the culture, then marrying off a minor would not be a good thing either way. So whether it's the cut or what it leads to, it's not the most cherished aspects of the culture. So, and as I say, that's a need that Elizabeth and his team have identified in the community, and we're grateful that they're finding ways to address them. So they're all FGM, sorry, we should get rid of all forms. Phyllis was sure, I mean, neither is cherished or found acceptable. I hope we've responded to that, but we can have a further discussion. Feel free to reach out to either of us, Phyllis. So anybody else with a question or a comment? It doesn't have to be a question. It can be a comment or a reflection based on the discussion for today.
Thank you. I have some reflection, and I would also want to congratulate Elizabeth for the exemplary work she's doing together with her team. Maybe this is done already, but I just wanted to find out from Elizabeth. I know it can be very costly to hire psychological counseling services, and perhaps it would be good to also consider utilizing peer counselors. And mainly this would be survivors of this ordeal. They would really be handy in supporting other girls. I don't know whether that is happening already or not. And then the other aspect would be also to support this process by incorporating the political leadership, because of course in Kenya, political leaders are really have influence over the populations and the people they lead. And so it would be quite interesting to just incorporate them. I know that would really be helpful so that they can also help in the advocacy and just the running the campaigns against the FGM Act. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eliud, for that comment. Elizabeth, did you have something to say?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the recommendations. And just to answer your question on engaging survivors, or peer counselors. We've tried doing that in the past, but we have been advised to deal with professionals, and preferably someone who's been in the field much longer, because the kind of trauma that the girls come with require a bit of maturity, I'd say. So we've tried to do that, and we've been encouraged to engage someone who's a bit mature for counseling. On your other comment on working with the leadership, we've really tried, and it's true whatever you're saying, because in Kenya, political influence, you cannot live without it. One way or the other, you have to be a politician or know things about politics. So we've really worked with politicians, and I think even the strides that we've made right now in the 4 years that we've been in existence is mostly because of the support that we've gotten even from politicians.
All right.
Thank you. I agree with you. Actually, thinking about it again, the kind of trauma that the victims go through really is contextual, it's really different. So again, it might be difficult for them to carry out peer counseling services. And as you say, it's good when professionals are involved, because it goes beyond, it's a whole process. It's not a one-time event. So thanks for that.
Thank you for your question, Eliud, and response, Elizabeth. Before I go to Miriam's question, I see Phyllis here. You're saying thank you, Maura. So there is no need to distinguish between FGC and FGM, or is there? We should work to end all forms of FGM. If you asked me, I don't really, it matters what you label it. The fact is they're done differently, but that doesn't mean that there's any that is recommended or valued or cherished. It's only that there's a difference in how it's done. It just demarcates. If you meet two girls, one will say I underwent FGC and another will say I underwent FGM, but does that make it right in either way? No. So I don't see a problem in distinguishing, but I see a problem in practicing any or either form of tampering with female or girl childish genitalia. That's how I can respond to that. So, Miriam says, well done, Elizabeth. It's amazing what you are doing, transforming community. Okay, thank you, Miriam, for that compliment. Question, what did you do to realize the strides you have made? So, Miriam, are you trying to ask, like, how have they been able to be successful, basically?
Okay. Thank you, Damaris, and thank you, Elizabeth, for the presentation. That's part of my question, but I'm already answered from our explanation. I think I connected the dots from the fellowship. However, allow me to just add on to something. The good work she's doing, it's very amazing, and I'm excited that the youth are really taking action to provide solutions to challenges that we are experiencing in the society, which is really motivating. Having that foresight is very critical. In Kenya, we have an organization called OWSD, Organization for Women Scientists in Developing World. We have a Kenya chapter, and it's part of the global chapter. And one of the things that they do is voluntarily, they offer mentorship to girls, right from primary school to secondary schools and at the university level. Maybe, Elizabeth, this is a group you can connect with whenever they have time, and depending on their schedule and when your girls are also available, you could link up with them and they can do some kind of motivation to the girls, and it is voluntary, just to encourage girls in the STEM field, which I think is something that they can benefit from. Otherwise, thank you.
you very much for that. Yeah, I think that is it's something that's really helpful. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, this is why discussions and platforms like this are important, because there are connections that can happen. There are people that do similar work like you do, and there's power in working together in terms of partnering and collaborating. Yeah, you spend less effort in solving a problem that would have taken you either energy, time, resources to be able to do that. So thanks for the information, Miriam. That is very helpful. I do not, oh, I see Lot's hand up. Lot, you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Damaris. Ms. Elizabeth, we are very grateful for the presentation and the good work you are doing. I asked something in the chat box that I'm a Ghanaian, and we have this foundation that was set up not long ago in the northern Ghana. You know, this is the part of Ghana whereby most girls are being denied education because of so many reasons. And this female genital mutilation is something that is really causing trouble over there. So I have here, I invited the, let's say, the founder of the association or the organization, Amazing Souls Foundation, and she's here. So she's been listening to everything and she's really inspired. So should there be any collaboration? Are you going to collaborate or extend a helping hand so that we work together so that the ladies or the females in Ghana can also have a share of everything which is happening? Thank you.
Thank you, Lot. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lo. We are always open to collaboration because, as we say, we are trying to solve problems one girl at a time. It doesn't matter where the girl is. So it's something that we can always discuss, and sometimes all it takes is, how did you do this? How were you able to maneuver? How were you able to go over this obstacle? So it's something that you're open to. So maybe I'll put my email again on the chat box so that we're able to discuss further and see how we can help each other.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lot, also for sharing that information from Ghana and for offering to collaborate with Elizabeth on this important work. So I see, great job, Elizabeth. This is a fantastic work. These girls will grow up to build a critical mass of change agents advocating for better community. Great work, and kudos to the organizers too. Well done. So thank you, Keberechi, and thank you for being here as well. We learn together. I don't think I see any questions at all, unless I missed it. But I have a question, Elizabeth. So since 2021, when you initiated the Nice Place Foundation, what have been, say, the attitude of the community in general? I know you said you try to educate, you try to collaborate with families, but what has been like the attitude, because you're basing this organization within a community that has its own traditions? How has been the reception?
So I'd love to say that the community, especially where our facility is, they're our biggest pillar of success. Because you realize with organizations, if the community does not take you as their own, then you're very likely to fail. So the community has really embraced our the activities that we do, and they really take part in supporting our initiatives. I just got a mind blow. I'm sorry. But anyway, the community are our biggest supporter. The only Well, when the community that you're in right now or where the facility is, we do not have the issues that we are talking about, things like FGM. They are not as loud as they are in communities further away from us. But we keep saying one step at a time, one girl at a time. And after a bit of time, I'm sure we will be able to reach more people, reach more girls. We'll be able to get to the 50,000 that we are looking forward to by 2030. Yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, you certainly did. And one more other question. Who funds your organization? How are you able to fund the different programs that you undertake?
So we do have, first of all, the organization is a women-founded organization and a women-led organization. I am fortunate enough to be the youngest of, we are 3 founders, so I'm fortunate enough to be the youngest of them. So the 2 other founders, they do have profile because they used to work in other organizations doing the same things that we do right now or almost similar things. So through their networks and connections that they had built over the years, we've been able to get people who've believed in the dream and funded the organization. So we work very closely with organizations like AMREF Health Africa. We work closely with organizations because most of our donors are in the Netherlands. We've found individual donors. You find someone who tells you, I will support the building of all the structures. And other than that, we also have donors from Kenya. We have individuals who are willing to fund things that we do or our initiatives. You find someone who tells you, I can support 2 children and pay for their school fees until they're done with schools. So we have a mixture of organizations, we have a mixture of individuals and philanthropic people.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy that you're getting the support as you go by. So thank you so much for that response. I don't see any question or hand up. Did I miss anything? Lot, is your hand still up? Oh, Lot, is your hand still? Okay.
Yes, please.
So,
Last question. Please, Ms. Elizabeth, since your work directly challenges cultural practices like female genital mutilation and early marriage, what kinds of resistance or challenges have you faced from communities or society, and how do you address them? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lot, for the question. So for us, every single day is a new challenge because you find, I'd answer you in a story. So before I left for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, there's a girl that we rescued. She was in grade 6. She got married off. She got married in February this year. In March of this year, because my culture says that, or used to say that, brutal punishment shows love. So if your husband beats you, then it means they love you. So in the process of being loved, her hand was broken in March. And she was referred to us by the children's officer. So she came with a broken arm. She had left school in grade 6. And we have to follow the due process because we have to find justice for her. So we have to attend court sessions. What happened first, we went to the police station, wrote statements, went back home, took the perpetrator to the police cells, and then we started the legal process of prosecuting the perpetrator. So what happened is this story had a lot of interest from the community. And people did not want the guy to be arrested. And it had so much influence that even politicians were supporting that. No, you're supposed to release the guy. It was a hot mess. So every single story has its own challenges. And what later happened with that story is the police officer who was in charge of the case, she was even transferred to another county. That's how powerful politics is in Kenya, or in Kajiado, I'd say. So the politicians, because they had influence in the story, the people are being transferred, people are being threatened. We were being threatened on social media. So every single day, new challenges. So what has helped us navigate the challenges that we have, or the challenges that we sometimes come across, is we have a very good relationship with the government. We get to work with the government, and that means that we are protected. So that means that someone cannot come and break in and try and get a girl out of the foundation. Other than that, we do a lot of dialogues. You might be very rowdy, you might be very harsh to us, but we will try and make sure that we try get to you and talk to you. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter who we send, provided you're able to listen to us in the long run. So it's a lot of dialogues, and it's also partnership with the government that we are able to navigate some of these issues. The other thing that is really very important for us is that we were born here. So at the end of the day, we are still, it doesn't matter what you say, we are still your children. So it comes to a point where when you realize that we are your children, then it becomes very easy for you to listen to us, or to just say, okay, let me just listen because this is my child. So I think being born here also is a plus for us, and having a good relationship with the government.
Right. Lot, you good?
Yes, please. I'm very much good.
Thank you. I see Melissa's hand up. Please, Melissa, go ahead.
Hi, Elizabeth. It is so wonderful to see you. It was a pleasure to work with you when you were here for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And you and I got the opportunity to spend some time talking about your organization and this work that you do. And I don't really have any more questions, but I did want to tell you how much I appreciate your bravery to come and talk and share all of this with us today. The work that you are doing is so terribly, terribly, terribly important. I've mentioned many times that change is slow. Culture change is very slow. And your attitude of one girl at a time is absolutely the right attitude to have. And I feel honored to know you and the work that you're doing, and to know about the work that you're doing. And I just want to applaud you and encourage you to just stay the course and keep doing all the great things that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Melissa. It means so much to me to see you here today. And I don't even know what to say, because I think you're one of the kindest person that I got to meet in the fellowship. I remember sharing with you, I think this week, telling you that attention is the rarest form of kindness, and I got to experience that from you. So I am really grateful for you being here today, and for all the kind words you said to me. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa is one of the facilitators of the Mandela Washington Fellowship at MSU. And she had time to engage and work with Elizabeth when she was here. And thanks, Melissa, for joining the discussion today. Appreciate you being here. So how George Ido is asking, how is the media involvement in these issues? Elizabeth, is the question clear to you? Okay.
So thank you, George, for your question. How do I say, or what do I say? George, would you mind elaborating a little bit more so that I get to know?
Sure, like how is the media I didn't understand it quite well. George, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you can. Go ahead. I see your hand up too. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm in Ghana. It's through my brother Lot that I got to know about this tonight. I'm in the media space, and most of the times we do get this information through friends that live in such communities. So if it comes to our notice, most of the times we, the media, follow up with them, go with them, and we just witness how things are being done, the nature of the things are being done in such areas and things. So I want to know in Kenya if the media is so keenly about what is actually going there. I mean, about what AFGM is actually, being having effect on the girl child.
Okay, George, thank you very much. Yeah, I think the media is keen on some of these issues because you find out that in Kenya, FGM is not legal. It's not something that should be practiced, and because of that, then it's a hotspot for media people. I'd say that we do have support from the media because every single time you want to do your advocacy on media stations, be it radio, be it TV, then there are usually opportunities to do that. So I think the media are supportive in this issue. I don't know if I answered you.
Sorry to is the media actually amplifying it very much in Kenya? Because in Ghana, for here, some parts of our regions are not allowed. Some part to, unless you go to the interland before you're able to witness kind of such act. So I want to know if the media is actually being vocal about these things in Kenya.
Yeah, so I think what the media does or the part it plays is giving you a platform because given that I've told you that FGM is illegal in Kenya, right now we've come up with new ways of doing it. For example, here, because we are really close to the Tanzania border, then right now we do what we call cross-border cutting. Because in Tanzania it's fine to do it, so we just go to Tanzania. So it's not something that you find in the news, but if someone is gotten doing it, then it's something that will be amplified for sure. But we do it in secrecy. It's something that we really hide. We'd rather go to another country.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Just to add, in my opinion, I feel that this is why the work that you do is very important. It's more about educating communities because there are some challenges or issues that mandates might not even address. So for example, in Kenya, it's mandated that all children attend school regardless. It's kind of a mandate. But does it happen in every community? No, I wouldn't say no. It's something that needs to be done. It's something that the government is pushing for. But in some situations, it doesn't happen for many reasons that we might not go into. So things like this, female genital mutilation or CAT, are, I think, things that communities need to be educated, sensitized, and work together to abolish, because it's not work that it can be led for one person, the media, it's just work that needs to happen within the community. The community needs to be convinced that we need to take another direction in something like this. So it's a good question, George, but sometimes media might not even know it's happening, as Elizabeth says. If the community is not convinced, if they're kind of being forced to adapt or change the mindset and the practice of something like this, it will take forever to happen. So I think what the combination of what Nice Place Foundation is doing is like, first you're doing what you need to do first, rescue when you're able to, and then also educate the community, work with the community just to see the sense of collaborating in an issue like this. That's how I see it. But that's a very good question, because all the time we know that media is a space where challenges, needs in communities can also be amplified. So, I mean, they can be shared with a wider community for everybody to chip in. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other question, comment before we can wrap it?
Hello,
Oh,
I have a
Yona, you had something to say. Sorry, I saw in the chat. Please go ahead.
sorry. No, so first of all, sorry for not catching the name, but for the guy from Ghana, just to give context on what basically FGM and the whole circumcision thing is in East Africa. A bit of history. The whole culture of circumcision, both male and female, it came from the Cushitic communities. So the Cushites are the people who migrated from the corner of the north of Africa into East Africa, and they had come in contact with the Arabs. So they came in with these cultures. So Kenya has a big mixture of Cushites with the Bantus and with the Nilotes, and this is where all cultures basically got these circumcision practices. That is to say that FGM was very, very common in Kenya a long time ago. Like almost every tribe in Kenya practice FGM. It's not. I think in my understanding is that in Ghana it's just in a small part of Ghana, but that's not the case in Kenya. That's not how it was. It was a huge issue almost in every tribe in the country. So it has been a campaign that has been done for many years, and there's been quite a lot of awareness in it. But still, obviously, like Soila is doing very good work in trying to stamp out the last breathing corners where FGM is still practiced. So yeah, basically that's the context of the Kenya as a country and East Africa as a space. The fact that East Africa was able to mix with Arabs and Kushites well before other people. That's why, for example, in Southern Africa, people don't do a lot of circumcision, right? Because they never came in contact with Kushites. So this is all cultural transitions, and some of them we have gotten to a point where we are trying to stamp them out. Now, so this brings me to the point about female genital mutilation versus female genital cut. Maura, just in my honest opinion, female genital cut is a branch of female genital mutilation. So when we try to distinguish it, for me, it feels like we are trying to bring up a bit of justification. We shouldn't be there. There's no difference. It's all the same thing. All mutilations, all cuts are mutilations, and all mutilations should be stopped. Full stop. So that's just my humble opinion, and why I was a bit when I was commenting. I unfortunately I was using Phyllis' account because she shared the link, but it was not Phyllis who was commenting. It was actually me who was commenting about the FGC versus FGM. And I was just trying to clarify and to get us to a point where we understand that we shouldn't even have a distinction. It's like homicide, murder. It's you kill somebody. We in my opinion, it should all be the same. It should all be like a no. And also, just to give a context to the Ghana community, is that in Kenya, this used to be widespread, and the country has done a lot of work to eradicate it. And people like Soila are still doing a lot of amazing work to just kill the last corners that it's existing in. And in Ghana, when you say that it's happening in remote places, maybe she can also inspire you to go to those last places that is still happening and just completely eradicate it, because there's no justified form. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Now it's Yona for that comment. I mean, thank you. We learn every day. And I certainly understand and acknowledge your comment about this. And I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong about it. I come from a point where I used the term FGM in my dissertation presentation, and it was a huge debate. It actually shifted the discussion to something else. It's
Yeah.
in my dissertation, it's FGM. There has been a lot, I would say, in this space. Is it FGM? Is it? That's why I say, in my head, it doesn't really matter what you call it. Just it's not something that needs to be done. That's why I end where I end. But I'm not trying to say you're wrong, because I'm not in this space actually. That's why in the beginning I said it's not my expertise. It's a terminology that was used within my dissertation research. That's not what I studied. It's something that came out of the study actually. So I'm not, in fact, even trying to say you're wrong or what. No, I'm just, in my mind,
No,
the
I
discussion is
understand.
it shouldn't happen. What you call it doesn't really matter, but it just
Yeah.
needs to. But because you're in that field, and maybe
No,
from the
no,
discussions
sorry,
that
just
you've
sorry,
had,
sorry. I have to interrupt a bit.
please go ahead.
I am not in that field at all. Actually an agricultural scientist. So
Okay.
this is just a field that I have read about and I have no expertise in it. So you might be more right than me. But just from a
Well,
layman's perspective, in my understanding of what FGM is, I just feel like it's something we should end
yes.
regardless of what form it is, whether they are removing the whole thing or just cutting a bit. None of it should happen.
I'm glad that we're on the same page on that. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say it's supposed to be FGM, or I learn every day. If it's
Okay.
FGM, that's what we need to call it, fine.
Yeah.
We need to
Okay.
stop it. That's the whole point. So I understand and I agree. That's why I say I don't discuss more about it, because it just shifts the discussion. All the
Yeah.
time we focus on terminologies, which is important, but it just shifts the whole discussion. It shifted mine during my dissertation. That's why I say it's a wrong practice, period. So thank you so much. This is why we need more time actually to, and that's why these discussions are important. We learn every single day. So I have a motivation to go and look more. Where are we at with these terminologies? So thank you so much, Yona. I certainly love that we're having a discussion like this. So any other, I see something on the chat. Great job, Elizabeth. Thank you, Douglas. And that was Yona. So I don't see any hand up. Am I closing anybody out before I wrap it up? Just George, you have something?
Yeah,
Okay.
please, I want to ask Elizabeth, when is she coming to Ghana?
Elizabeth? That's
Yeah,
Elizabeth's question.
yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, I support George.
Yeah, my brother.
Elizabeth, you're
I'm
being
coming very
invited
soon,
by.
as soon as you invite me.
There you go.
Mm.
Just needs
You
an invitation.
need to be in Ghana for a tour. You need to take you around. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can plan and then see the way forward.
All
All
right.
right.
Oh,
So at this point, seeing that there are no questions on the chat or here verbally, I sincerely want to thank everybody that has stayed with us until the end. More so, I want to thank our speaker, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for bringing this to a wider platform. The work that you do needs to be replicated, not exact work, but as I said, we have a role to play in our communities. Whatever you do in your community, or whatever the need is in your community, it's just an inspiration for me, at least, that we can't just sit, and we're not going to say, oh, it's Loitoktok, oh, it's the Maasai community. No, I know that wherever you are, if we went around the call to ask everybody to mention a problem, a need that they see in their communities, there are many. So I just want to say Thank you, Elizabeth, again and again for the work that you do, and a challenge to all of us to do something in as much as we can. So I hope that you're able to join us again for the next one. It's on October 2nd. I'll share more information about the talk. But for now, we want to wrap it up, and good night for those who are in areas where they're over their time of going to bed. But thank you for sacrificing to be with us until the end. Until next time, see you again. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.